Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about something that, let's be honest, affects just about everyone at work. KPIs. Key performance indicators. But listen, we're not just going to define them. No, we're going to dive into how to totally rethink them, how to use them to actually unlock some real growth on your team. And this right here, this is the big idea for today. What if performance metrics weren't just about pressure? What if they were actually about development? Think about that for a second. Let's keep that question in our back pocket as we break down how to actually make that happen. Because, let's be real. For most of us, KPIs feel like this rigid, super stressful yardstick, right? But here's the thing. It really doesn't have to be that way. There is a way better, much more human-centric approach. And that's exactly what we're going to get into. All right, so first up, let's dive right in and talk about a problem I'm pretty sure many of you have run into, what I call the standard KPI trap. Okay, so picture this. You've got two absolutely fantastic people on your team, both in the same role. First, you've got your natural communicator. This is the person who just loves leading projects, connecting with clients. They're the life of the party, right? And then you have your analytical refiner. This person is more of a deep thinker, laser focused on finding those genius little ways to make your internal systems run smoother. Both are just incredibly valuable, wouldn't you agree? But here's where the trap springs. Both of them, believe it or not, are measured by the exact same standard KPIs. So you've got a metric like, say, number of client meetings. Well, that's a home run for the natural communicator, right? But it completely, and I mean completely, ignores the incredible value the analytical refiner is bringing by quietly making your whole operation better from the inside out. And what's the result of that? Well, it's disengagement, not development. See, when your metrics only reward one type of strength, your other super valuable team members start to feel boxed in, maybe even a little undervalued. And that is the exact opposite of what good performance management should be doing. All right, so let's move on. In this next section, we're going to look at how we can completely flip the script on KPIs, turn them from something that causes stress into a real catalyst for progress. And this right here is the core mindset shift we're talking about. See, when KPIs are just handed down from on high, they feel like pressure. It's just another task, another number to hit. But when they're actually aligned with an individual's own goals, their own journey, suddenly they become fuel. It feels less like a mandate and more like a partnership. And that reframing brings us to this really powerful concept, growth-aligned KPIs. So I want you to think of these less like a final grade on your report card, just measuring output, and think of them more as milestones, like little guideposts on a personal growth journey. They're there to show someone, hey, you're moving in the right direction, you're developing the skills that really matter. And you know what? When you make this shift, the benefits are pretty much immediate. For starters, people can actually see their own progress in real terms, which is just incredibly motivating. All of a sudden, those dreaded performance reviews, they stop being scary judgments and they start feeling like collaborative coaching sessions. And maybe most importantly, motivation isn't something you have to force anymore because it becomes intrinsic. It just comes from within. So this all sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, that brings us right to our next section, the practical how-to guide for making this shift happen. So I know what you might be thinking right now. Okay, this sounds good, but how do I actually start creating these kinds of personalized, growth-aligned KPIs without making my life a total nightmare of complexity? Well, the answer is actually, and I love this, wonderfully simple. It's not about some complex new spreadsheet or fancy software. It all begins with a simple conversation. It's about talking with your people, not just at them. And these are the kinds of powerful, open-ended questions you can start with. Notice, these aren't "did you hit your numbers" questions. Nope. These are questions that open up a real dialogue about ambition, about skills, about personal development. This is what lays the foundation for creating metrics that actually mean something. Okay, so that initial conversation, that's your step one. And from there, it's a really clear process. Step two is all about balancing the demands of their job with their own personal goals. Step three, you've got to reinforce their natural strengths, the things they're already good at. Step four is a big one. You have to evolve the KPIs as they grow. These aren't set in stone. And finally, step five, you make that growth conversation a central, non-negotiable part of every single review. Okay, let's get even more practical. I'm going to walk you through a tool you can use to actually structure these new personalized KPIs in a way that's super clear for everyone involved. Now, to be clear, the goal here isn't to just throw out all the core job responsibilities. Of course not. The business still needs to run. It's really about creating a more holistic, a more balanced view of performance, one that measures both their contribution and their personal development. This framework here breaks it down beautifully into 4 balanced categories. So you start with the foundation, the core role KPIs. These are the non-negotiables, the stuff that just has to get done. But then, on top of that, you layer in personal growth KPIs to help them build new skills. Then you add strength-driven KPIs, which let them double down on what they're already amazing at. And finally, you include some stretch or leadership KPIs that really push them towards that next level of responsibility. All right, so as we start to wrap up, let's talk about the ultimate takeaway from this entire approach. The one big idea that really holds it all together. And here we are, back to this powerful idea we started with. It is a fundamental shift from just looking backward at what someone did to actively looking forward and supporting who they are becoming. This is about investing in the person, not just tracking the employee. And look, when you get this right, the business outcomes are huge. It's not just a nice to have. People don't just perform better. They actually stick around longer because they feel seen, they feel invested in, and maybe best of all, they take real, genuine ownership of their career journey right there inside your company. So I'm going to leave you with this one final, really crucial question to ask yourself the next time you're looking at a performance dashboard. Don't just ask, are they hitting the numbers? Ask yourself this. Are these numbers actually helping them grow into the talented, capable, and amazing person that we hired them to become in the first place?